Hello, and welcome to Sweet to Neat, our bourbon journey. I'm back in the blind spot tonight with Wheat War 2. Peggy's bakery business is taking off, so she's busy baking. You might hear some noise in the background. So tonight we've got the winner of Wheat War 1, Maker's Mark, going up against Green River Wheated, Fiddler Wheated, and Penelope Wheated. Again, the Maker's Mark is a non-age stated bourbon made with 70% corn, 16% soft red winter wheat, and 14% malted barley, and it's coming in at 90 proof. The Green River Wheated is also a 90 proofer with no age statement, and it's coming in with 70% corn, 21% wheat, and 9% malted barley. The Fiddler is made by ASW Distillery. It's 92 proof with 51% corn, 45% wheat, so a very high wheat, and 4% malted barley. And this one actually is aged for 6 years and is at least 50% double oaked. So I'm looking forward to seeing if I can pick that one out of the lineup. And finally, Penelope Wheated, made by Ross and Squibb, or MGP for distilling, is a 74% corn, 16% wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley. So it's a 4-grain wheater, and it is 95 proof, also non-age stated. These are all straight whiskeys, so that means if there's not an age statement, they have to be at least 4 years old, but most are probably in that 4-year range. So diving right in, starting with sample A. Definitely smell the wheat on this one. And if you've been watching the channel, you know I like to warm my bourbon a little to get the nose. Ethanol on the second nosing. A little bit of oak. Let's see what she tastes like. Tastes like bourbon. The first sip was very much just the oakiness. Second sip is giving me a little bit more of the ethanol burn. Not getting a lot of sweetness on this one. So, and the palate may change day to day, but that's what I'm tasting tonight. So far I don't think A is likely to be the winner tonight. Moving on to C. Since my board is pre-labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, B and E are empty when we do a 4-glass challenge. This one, ethanol and oak. Not as much of the wheat. Really not getting any spices. Maybe a very fine hint of cinnamon on the nose. Softer first sip than A. Little mid-palate ethanol. Tiny bit of a Kentucky hug, but not much of a finish. Third sip gives a little cinnamon, oakiness, a little bit longer finish this time, but A did have the longer finish of these first two. Moving on to D. Ooh, this one smells the best so far. Definitely getting some wheaty bread, some sweetness, not much ethanol. Nice and soft on the palate. Not a lot of flavor, but nothing offensive. A little bit of cinnamon kick in this third sip. You know, not overwhelming, but that's a good pour. And finally, the last sample. Not much nose. See if it gives anything when I warm it more. No. Very little nose. Just a slight hint of ethanol and oak, but very faint. Ooh, good flavor though. Baking spices right off the bat. Little oakiness. Not super sweet. Yes, really nice baking spices. Fair Kentucky hug. Nice finish. I'm wondering if this is the Fiddler. Just getting more flavor from it, and Fiddler is older and double oaked. All right, so this is definitely my winner. Come down between D and C for second place. A little fruitiness on that sip going back to C. By the way, I did go back through last week's Wheat War 1 off camera just because the samples had sat for a fair amount of time before we were able to film, and I did confirm that Maker's Mark won among last week's samples. Let me go back. This might challenge, I don't think so, but yeah, this is the winner. That's a good bourbon. All right, so that is the order, and let's find out who is in last place. Last place is C, which is the Fiddler. That really surprises me. Green River comes in third. Maker's Mark came in second. So the Penelope Wheated came in first place. That really surprised me, but it does have the highest proof of any of them, which does often impart more flavor. So that's Wheat War 2. Penelope will move on to Wheat War 3, so stay tuned. And remember, the way you enjoy your whiskey is the right way to enjoy whiskey. Cheers. Outtake reel. Here's the blend of Wheat War 2 bourbons. Yeah, this one's not a winner. It's a bourbon. It's a bourbon. It has the typical flavor of bourbon, nothing to write home about. Worth a try.